So hello everyone, myself Shafaqnaz Ansari from third year of BA in Economics, and my presentation topic is environmentally challenged projects in India. So environmentally challenged projects in India, as the name is suggesting, I have to discuss the negative impacts of projects which is hampering the environment vigorously in the name of development. So first of all, as a human being, it is very essential for us to understand the intricate relationship between physical environment and human being, because physical environment provides us resources and we human utilize those resources and ensure our economic and cultural development. In short, we can say that physical environment is like a stage and we human beings are actor performing. तो हम ह्यूमन बींग्स स्टेज के ऊपर रह के हमारी नीड्स पूरी कर रहे हैं, और ज़्यादा ज़रूरत पड़ती है तो स्टेज को थोड़ा डिस्ट्रैक्ट भी करना पड़ता है नीड्स को पूरी फुलफ़िल करने के लिए प्रोजेक्ट्स कंस्ट्रक्शन करके। जैसे कि एजुकेशन की नीड को फुलफ़िल करने के लिए हमने बहुत सारे स्कूल, कॉलेजेस, यूनिवर्सिटी कंस्ट्रक्ट किए हैं। हेल्थ के लिए हॉस्पिटल्स, रिसर्च के लिए रिसर्च सेंटर्स, रियल एस्टेट प्रोजेक्ट्स, मिनरल एक्सट्रैक्ट करने के लिए माइनिंग प्रोजेक्ट्स, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट के लिए बहुत सारे प्रोजेक्ट्स बनाए हैं। देन थर्मल, न्यूक्लियर एंड हाइड्रो प्लांट्स, डैम्स बनाए हैं, एंड सो ऑन एंड सो फोर्थ। इन सारी कैटेगरी पे इंडिया ने तो बहुत सारे प्रोजेक्ट्स बनाए हैं एंड मोस्टली सक्सेसफुल भी रहे हैं। और न्यू प्रोजेक्ट की बात करें तो ऐसे बहुत सारे प्रोजेक्ट हैं जो हम सिटीजन्स के लिए गिफ्ट जैसे साबित होते हैं। जैसे कि हर शहर में अब धीरे धीरे मेट्रोज आ रही है, इंडिया का सोलर पावर में वर्ल्ड पावर बनना, highest longest rail bridges and tunnels which require immense technical expertise. Along with that, every day some new highway projects, airport is getting inaugurated somewhere or the other. All these things are definitely evident by their foundations that are being placed all around us. But the main thing जो हमको अच्छे से मालूम होनी चाहिए कि जो प्रोजेक्ट्स बन रहे हैं उसके पीछे एनवायरनमेंट का कितना सेक्रीफाइस हुआ है, और जितना भी सेक्रीफाइस हुआ है क्या उस प्रोजेक्ट ने वो सारी चीज़ को कंपेंसेट कर पाया या कुछ उल्टा ही हो गया। बिकॉज टुडे एक्सेलरेटेड पेस ऑफ रिसोर्स यूटिलाइजेशन विद द हेल्प ऑफ मॉडर्न टेक्नोलॉजी हैज़ क्रिएटेड इकोलॉजिकल इम्बैलेंस इन द वर्ल्ड। हैंस एज आई सेड, अ बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ फिजिकल एनवायरनमेंट is absolutely essential for sustainable development, because a single project can take the country on the path of progress or can also lead to the path of devastation. सक्सेसफुल प्रोजेक्ट उसको बोलेंगे जिसको बनाने के लिए उस एरिया के लोगों को ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम फेस नहीं करनी पड़ी, बहुत ही एक्सट्रीम लेवल पर एनवायरनमेंट का डिग्रेडेशन नहीं हुआ, रिटर्न ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट अच्छा मिल रहा है, बहुत ही ज़्यादा यूज़फुल है लोगों के लिए। जैसे हम कोई कॉलेज बनाएंगे तो हो सकता है कुछ पेड़ अपने को काटने पड़ेंगे, लेकिन अच्छे कॉज वाला प्रोजेक्ट है, इतने सारे स्टूडेंट पढ़ेंगे, उधर एम्प्लॉयमेंट मिलेगा एक्सेट्रा। तो ये अच्छे प्रोजेक्ट्स है जो कि कंट्री को प्रोग्रेस के पाथ में ले जाएगा। और अगर सक्सेसफुल प्रोजेक्ट की बात की जाए जिसने कंट्री को प्रोग्रेस के रास्ते पर लेकर गया, तो ऐसे बहुत सारे एग्जांपल्स है वर्ल्ड में। फॉर एग्जांपल फिनलैंड कंट्री। इन फिनलैंड 68 million books were borrowed in the last year alone. Since they read so much, on the anniversary of 100th birthday of Finland, Finnish people deliberated about what special thing they could do for their birthday. So they gave approval to the Oodi Library in Helsinki, which took 100 million euros to build it. Generally, when a monument is built, its tourist value remains limited. It is always claimed that so many people would come to see it, but there is very little positive addition. But in the case of Oodi Library, more than 4.2 lakh people came to see the library in the first year itself. The population of Helsinki is around 6 to 6.5 lakhs. In a way, it could be said that the entire city came to see the library, and 3 million visitors from across the world came to see this library. So, first of all, this project served as a community center. It benefited the country economically as well. In the progressive sense of the people also get enhanced. This is an example of positive architecture of a positive symbol which compensated all the elimination of the environment. Then Palm Jumeirah in Dubai, now considered as 8th wonder of the world. Such a mega project took only 6 years to build, become a global tourist center. Then there is a country that seeks limitless political power. Of course, China. The Belt and Road Initiative of China, which will take around 50 years to conclude. In short, Belt and Road Initiative is being undertaken by China to recreate its historical Silk Road. There are ultimately 65 countries becoming a part of it, which makes 60% of the world's population and 40% of the global GDP. There are 130 countries that have been signed an understanding which will help China in spreading its investment all over the world. It will cost around $1 trillion to make, and its estimated end year is 2050. China is working on such a long-term plans projects, and we are banning their Chinese apps here. This very clearly shows that the construction philosophy of China is far too long-term for us to see right now. But in India also, there are lots of mega projects like Sardar Sarovar Dam, World Mumbai Tower. ये मुंबई का लार्जेस्ट टावर होगा रेसिडेंशियल कैटेगरी में. स्मार्ट सिटी प्लान, काथीपारा फ्लाईओवर, देन सोलर पार्क इन गुजरात, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा. तो आज किसी देश में अगर डेवलपमेंट देखना हो तो उसकी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को देखा जाता है, लेकिन उसी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को बढ़ाने के लिए कितने पेड़ काटे गए उस पर बहुत कम लोगों की नज़र जाती है. And we should not forget gas leak in the pesticide plant of the Union Carbide in Bhopal, the gas leak in a chemical plant at Visakhapatnam, massive fire at Assam oil well. I do not need to count and tell you how many people have died in this disaster, and indirectly thousands of people have affected. So, strict and strong body होने चाहिए जो ये सारे डेवलपमेंटल प्रोजेक्ट्स पर नज़र रखेगी. कौन सा प्रोजेक्ट ऑपरेट करना चाहिए कंट्री में और कौन से प्रोजेक्ट को इम्प्लीमेंट होने से रोक देना चाहिए. एनवायरनमेंट पर अगर बहुत ज़्यादा एडवर्स इम्पैक्ट क्रिएट हो रहा है तो हमारे इंडिया में भी एक ऐसी बॉडी है, EIA नाम से जाना जाता है. फुल फॉर्म है एनवायरमेंटल इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट. तो इसके बावजूद हमारे इंडिया में इतने सारे डिज़ास्टर क्यों होते हैं? बिकॉज there are lots of shortcomings in this EIA. Let us see in detail. What is EIA and its shortcoming जिसकी वजह से इंडिया में डिज़ास्टर देखने मिल रहे हैं. So how it began? Let's see. So after the Bhopal gas disaster of 1984, the Indian government realized that the existing environmental laws in India were insufficient. If we want to avoid such disaster from happening in the future, then there was a need for a stronger and more powerful laws. This is why the Indian government came up with the Environmental Protection Act in 1986. There was a new process in this act, and this process is EIA, Environmental Impact Assessment. ये इंडिया के हर प्रोजेक्ट्स पर एप्लीकेबल है. यानी कोई रियल एस्टेट बनाया जा रहा है या कोई इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोजेक्ट हो या कोई डैम खड़ा किया जा रहा हो, कोई हाईवे, कोल माइन या केमिकल प्लांट बनाया जा रहा हो, ये EIA सब पर एप्लीकेबल होगा. दिस प्रोसेस टेल्स अस दैट वी शुड सी व्हाट इज़ द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ एनी प्रोजेक्ट ऑन द एनवायरनमेंट विल बी. अगर कोल माइन बनाया जा रहा है तो कितना जंगल काटा जाएगा? What will happen to the people in the nearby village? Would they lose their livelihoods? We should look at both the positive and negative impacts of the project. And then, effort should be made to reduce the negative impact as much as possible. And if the government ministry feels that the negative impact is far too adverse, then such project should not be granted. So, environmental clearance would be granted on the basis of EIA. So now, let us see short overview how EIA works. Firstly, there is a process of site selection, say where a coal mine would be made. Then environmental impact assessment would follow, following which the NOC, no objection certificate, would be applied for, and then a public hearing would be conducted. The public would be asked their opinion. On the basis of it, a report would be prepared, which would then be passed on the Environmental Appraisal Committee, which is a committee of experts and scientists. They would judge whether it would be okay to build a coal mine in that place or not, whether the negative impacts are far too many or if they have a suggestion to reduce that negative impact or something else we can do. For example, the people living in the villages nearby could be provided with other means of livelihood, and to compensate for the deforestation, trees would be grown somewhere else. This committee would decide and put forth their suggestion, and then the project would be accepted and environmental clearance would be granted by the Ministry of Environment. Now, the EIA process sounds all great, but in reality, its application is not that effective in India. There are lots of shortcomings in this law, and it has been grossly misused as well. Many cases have been observed wherein a coal mine or a power plant has been constructed without conducting a public hearing. For example, in the case of Chhattisgarh Steel and Power Limited plant was constructed without public hearing. In some cases, the EIA reports are found to be fake. Studies are not conducted properly, and this is exactly why the disaster like Visakhapatnam gas leak happened in our country. In the story behind the fire wells in Assam was that public hearing for the projects were not conducted. The project was violating the environmental laws, and despite that it was in operation. So you can clearly see that these laws are not being implemented in a sound manner, which lead to this kind of disasters in our country. So there is no doubt about the fact that the law needs to be made more stronger and its implementation needs to be strengthened for today. But what is actually happening? The government is doing the exact opposite in the new draft of it just has been released. There is a clause of post facto clearance in this draft, which means यानी कोई प्रोजेक्ट यहाँ पर अपनी कंस्ट्रक्शन शुरू कर चुका है और उसको एनवायरमेंटल क्लियरेंस भी नहीं मिली है तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. कोई प्रोजेक्ट ऑलरेडी यहाँ पर ऑपरेट कर रहा है बिना एनवायरमेंटल क्लियरेंस के, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, वो अपनी एनवायरमेंटल क्लियरेंस बाद में भी ले सकता है. दिस इज़ एक्सट्रीमली डेंजरस. वी हैव ऑलरेडी सीन द विशाखापट्टनम गैस लीक. बिना एनवायरमेंटल क्लियरेंस के ऑपरेट कर रहा था और वैसा डिज़ास्टर हुआ. तो इस न्यू ड्राफ्ट के हिसाब से वो कम्प्लीटली सही और लीगल होता. थिंक अबाउट इट, से अ कोल माइन इज़ बीइंग कंस्ट्रक्टेड आफ्टर क्लियरिंग ऑफ अ फॉरेस्ट और गवर्नमेंट कहेगी कि कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, बनते रहने दो, इन्हें एनवायरमेंटल क्लियरेंस बाद में भी मिल सकता. In April, Supreme Court had even passed judgment declaring that post facto clearance is a very wrong approach. Such law should not be implemented. So, EIA को बहुत ज़्यादा स्ट्रिक्ट होना होगा क्योंकि there are lots of negative impacts of developmental projects as well. Now let's assess the impact of such projects on environment and economy. So, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल कंट्री के सेंसिटिव एरिया में लार्ज डैम्स कंस्ट्रक्ट करने से भी बहुत ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम होती है. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल, मोस्ट ऑफ द रिसर्च हैज़ हाईलाइटेड दैट द कैस्केड ऑफ हाइड्रो पावर प्रोजेक्ट्स स्टॉप्स द फ्री फ्लो ऑफ रिवर्स. द इश्यूज ऑफ एनवायरमेंटल हैजर्ड्स एंड रिस्क that accompany the construction of hydropower have not been highlighted enough. A research study released in 2018 by the Institute of Earth and Environmental Science in Germany concluded that 1 in 4 hydropower projects in the Himalayan region are at risk from landslides triggered by earthquakes and tremors. The report also illustrates how risk of accidents around hydropower project sites are higher due to climate change related disasters like flash floods and cloudburst. The report provides visuals from project sites in Kinnaur, Kullu and Chamba falling in the Satluj, Beas and Ravi river basins respectively. These impacts have made difficult the lives and livelihoods of the people in the projected area. As India's hydropower hotspot, Himachal Pradesh offers important lessons about the huge risk of building large dams in the Himalayas. A research study showed that 47% of the debris in the part of Srinagar town in Uttarakhand came from hydro power projects located upstream. Without these dams, the impact of the flood would have not been so bad. While bumper-to-bumper projects divert rivers, the impacts of land use change have been. In Himachal, most of the 13,000 odd hectares of official forest land diverted for only developmental projects from 1980 to 2009 is for hydropower projects. Apart from loss of forest, pastures and unculturable lands on both sides of the riverbed have been used for mud dumping. Deforestation has caused soil erosion and underground construction has led to slope failures, leading to further loss of forest and agricultural lands or people's home. The disturbance has affected groundwater discharge and springs. These disruptions have had a direct impact on farm and forest-based livelihood. Arunachal Pradesh Dibang Valley, where a hydroelectric project once cleared, would submerge over 1,000 hectares of pristine forest. The project was discussed by the Environment Ministry's expert forest panel over a video conferencing. Assam Ministry of Water Resources says large irrigation project in northeast India is a not good idea. The actual construction cost of large dams are too high to yield a positive return. This was the conclusion of a recent study done by a group of experts from Oxford University on dams around the world. Similar conclusion can be reached from a recent analysis done by SA and DRP on a 5 large irrigation dams project from northeastern region of India, where project costs have increased as high as 35 times from its original cost, and projects are under construction for 35 years but yet not completed. ये सारे प्रोजेक्ट्स इंडिया के एनवायरनमेंट को डिग्रेड कर ही रहे हैं और ऊपर से ऑलरेडी इंडिया में एनवायरमेंटल क्राइसिस चल रहा है. जैसे कि वी आर लूजिंग 1,30,000 square kilometer of forest every day. More than 1 crore trees were cut in the last 5 years in India. In a report published by Yale and Columbia University in 2018, India dropped from 145th rank to 177th position in Environmental Performance Index out of 180 countries. इसी रिपोर्ट में एनवायरमेंटल हेल्थ में हमारी रैंक थी 180 यानी कि लास्ट, एयर क्वालिटी में 178 यानी कि थर्ड लास्ट, एंड वाटर एंड सैनिटेशन में 145th रैंक थी. इन RA फॉरेस्ट रिसेंटली Maharashtra government had ordered to cut down about 30,000 trees for metro projects. The state government wanted to clear out the only green zone of about 1,300 hectare land in the center of a city like Mumbai. Government promised that it will plant about 20,000 saplings around Mumbai to compensate it. But an RTI soon revealed that out of 20,000 promised, the government has not even planted 5,000. Bombay High Court has refused to declare RA colony as a forest. In Delhi, 9,435 trees to be cut for Dwarka Expressway. Pollution is increasing every day in Delhi, but there is no delay in cutting down the trees. Deforestation in Aravalli is at such a high scale that 31 out of 120 hills in Rajasthan have disappeared over the years. This high-scale deforestation has caused a decline in groundwater levels in the National Capital Region. Speaking of Goa, more than 50,000 trees would be cut if the government approved its upcoming projects. Nearly 80,000 trees are proposed to be cut in Western Ghat for roads and power projects. Talibara village of Odisha, where 40,000 trees has been already cut for coal mine projects in 2019. In March 2019, the Union Environment Ministry gave stage 2 clearance to divert nearly 1,000 hectares of forest land for coal mining projects. This will involve the felling of about 1,30,000 trees. Now you must be thinking that if the developmental projects will not be carried out, then we will blame the government for stagnant economy. The thing is that the felling of trees have a direct impact to our health as well as on our economy. ट्रीज काटने से जो टॉप सॉइल लेयर होता है वो एक्सपोज हो जाता है, ख़त्म होना शुरू हो जाता है। ये टॉप सॉइल में सबसे ज़्यादा न्यूट्रिशन होते हैं और ये टॉप सॉइल बनने में लगभग 1 साल लग जाते हैं 1 इंच बढ़ने में, और इसलिए एक बार ये ख़त्म हो जाता है तो देश को बहुत ज़्यादा नुकसान होता है। 1986 में एक आर्टिकल के अकॉर्डिंग सरकार को इस टॉप सॉइल इरोजन की वजह से ऑलरेडी 5,000 करोड़ का नुकसान हो चुका है। आज ये नुकसान का लेवल स्टैचू ऑफ यूनिटी के ऊपर ही चले गया होगा। ये बेंगलोर का मैप है, यू कैन क्लियरली सी। ये जो भी ग्रीन कलर है वो फॉरेस्ट को डिनोट कर रहा है। आज 2020 में बचा ही नहीं है ग्रीनरी उधर ऑलमोस्ट। सी दिस, EIA ने ऑलमोस्ट सारे प्रोजेक्ट्स को क्लियरेंस दिया जो फॉरेस्ट पर बनने वाले थे। 99.82, ऑलमोस्ट एवरीथिंग, ऑलमोस्ट एवरी प्रोजेक्ट गॉट क्लियरेंस। और ये सारी छोटी छोटी चीज़ें मिलके ही एक बहुत बड़ा नेचुरल डिजास्टर क्रिएट करती है कंट्री में, जो कि रिसेंटली हम सब ने देखा है केरला फ्लड डिजास्टर के रूप में। इसका एक शॉर्ट केस स्टडी करते हैं। So, why this flood happened? Let's analyze it. Why the floods occurred in Kerala? What were the reason behind it? So the biggest reason is climate change, of course. The weather conditions are turning extreme worldwide and natural disasters are turning out to be more terrific. But the most major reason behind Kerala flood was regional environmental destruction. 6 years ago from today, a well-respected ecologist and scientist, Madhav Gadgil, had predicted that any time a terrific natural disaster can occur in the Western Ghats. That time, Uttarakhand floods were very famous. So he has said that situation like Uttarakhand can arise any time in the Western Ghat if no step is taken towards environmental conservation. In 2011, his committee has released a report and suggested ways for environmental conservation to 6 different state governments. These states were Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Gujarat and Goa. So basically इन स्टेट को सजेशन दी गई थी कि तुम्हें ये सब स्टेप करने पड़ेंगे अगर एनवायरनमेंट को बचाना है और एक नेचुरल डिजास्टर को होने से रोकना है तो। बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली ऑल द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट रिजेक्टेड हिज कमिटी रिपोर्ट and didn't accept any of the suggestion. Recommendation given were to stop illegal construction, stop the stone mining mafia, reduce deforestation, and many laws and rules were suggested. But all states rejected his recommendation. They said that Madhav recommendation is too anti-development, and the results are in front of us in today's time. So we have to persevere every time the government is doing anything against the environment. Now, the next report says that the oldest natural park, Jim Corbett, a government is trying to construct a highway from the middle of that natural park. Now, even a child can say how destructive it is going to be for the ecology and what harm it can cause to the natural park. How much ever you make that highway eco-friendly, but if a road passes from middle of the natural park, then it can create a very bad impact. Supreme Court has even said this few years ago that this highway should be constructed from the side of the national park. These things look small, but cutting of trees here and there can add up together to make a natural disaster later on. ये सब तो चल ही रहा है और उसके ऊपर से अगर गवर्नमेंट 3000 करोड़ का स्टैचू बना दे 1 लाख ट्री कट करके और रिटर्न ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट भी नेगेटिव में हो तो और हालत ख़राब हो जाएगी. वही हुआ है. येस, स्टैचू ऑफ यूनिटी. लेट्स क्विकली लुक अपॉन इट. द एंटायर कॉस्ट ऑफ दिस होल प्रोजेक्ट is around 30,000 crore rupees. You will be surprised to know that 3,600 plus monuments come under Archaeological Survey of India, जिसमें से सिर्फ 116 monuments में एंट्री टिकट है जिससे रेवेन्यू कमाया जा सकता है. Basic amenities are missing from many monuments. These monuments should have been upgraded. It would have been a great encouragement and return of investment would have been good too. Talking about social and environmental impact, it is very sad to know that lakhs of trees have been cut for this project, and thousands of Adivasis and villagers had to leave their work and land for the construction of this statue. Sarpanch of 22 villages have written letter to Prime Minister that I would like to read. This forest, rivers, waterfalls, land and agriculture supported us for generation. We survived on them, but everything is being destroyed now, and celebrations are also planned. Don't you think it's akin to celebrating someone's death? One of the tribal leader there says this project is being carried out for our destruction. In rupees 3,000 crore, you can build world largest Sardar Patel Memorial Library, medical college, universities, sport complex, fan park all together. Return would be much better and more useful. Hospitals are still working on COVID-19. Statue of Unity is closed during lockdown. So in my opinion, this mega project was a huge failure and environmentally challenged. In a sense, wastage of resources and money. लेकिन हमारे ही इंडिया में इसी का अपोजिट स्टैचू के एग्जाम्पल है जो सस्ता भी है और हमारे एक भी टैक्स के पैसे का यूज़ नहीं किया गया है इसको बनाने के लिए. और ये स्टैचू बनाने के लिए एक भी ट्री को कट नहीं किया गया है, बल्कि उस एरिया के आसपास पूरा फॉरेस्ट उगाया गया है और रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग सिस्टम भी बनाया गया है. इट्स अ बर्ड स्टैचू इन केरला, 52 किलोमीटर अवे फ्रॉम Trivandrum Airport. Its name is Jatayu Earth Center. The unique feature is that this entire statue and its nearby surrounding is 100% privately funded. As I said, 100 crore rupees total cost है पूरे प्रोजेक्ट का. Normally forests are cleared and trees are cut down to make statues, but as I said, in this case a forest was grown to build this statue. So this is a site of ecotourism. Rainwater harvesting system is also made here. Investors expect to break even in only 5 years. So we can clearly differentiate between these two projects. So this project according to me is far more environmentally viable and successful. So now let's have a look on some of these simple solutions to combat environmental crisis in India. So the first one is of course watershed management. Yes, very simple yet very effective. And Tamil Nadu is the first state in which it has made rooftop rainwater harvesting structure compulsory to all the houses across the state. Then second we have biomimicry. It will also leave great impact. ये एक सब्जेक्ट है जो बताता है कैसे नेचर के एलिमेंट्स काम करते हैं, उसको हम पढ़ के उसी टेक्निक से मैन मेड टूल्स बना सकते हैं. बायोमिमिक्री इज़ नॉट लर्निंग अबाउट नेचर बट लर्निंग फ्रॉम इट एंड गाइडिंग And the guiding principle of biomimicry is that life creates condition conducive to life. In first, IIT Madras has recently launched a full semester elective course on interdisciplinary stream on biomimicry. Example of such innovation include air cleaning equipment inspired from marine creature. Another example is air conditioners have become common in every house and it is contributing towards global warming. But if we try to understand how termites build homes in desert and survive in extreme heat, similar approaches can be adopted by humans to minimize the harm to nature and move towards sustainability. Then we have sustainable development. Then we have cradle to cradle approach, wherein we can utilize single product as much as possible. And most important is to strengthen EIA as soon as possible. Now ये सारी चीज़ें ऑलरेडी हो गई है इंडिया में. Like 61% groundwater has declined over 10 years. We are facing water crisis. You can see the news headlines. एंड ये सारे प्रिडिक्शन बनाए गए हैं इंडिया के हालत को देखकर कि ऐसे ही चलता रहा तो फ्यूचर में क्या होगा. लाइक नीति आयोग हैज सेड 40% ऑफ इंडियन विल हैव नो एक्सेस टू ड्रिंकिंग वाटर बाय 2030. बट दिस इज नॉट एन एंड एंड वी कैन नॉट लूज होप. एवरीथिंग कैन बी कॉम्बैक्ट, जस्ट आर एफर्ट्स आर नीडेड. एंड above mentioned things will also do much, and we should not use resources in a lavish way. As Mahatma Gandhi said, there is enough on earth for everybody's need, but not enough for everybody's greeds. We should sustain our environment to sustain ourselves. Yes, there is no doubt we want development, we want to become advanced country. But अगर resources ही खत्म हो जाएंगे, then what we will do? So, always utilize any resource in an optimum way. So now we came to an end of this video. I hope you understood what I wanted to convey and I gave justice to the topic. And this is a reference from where I have collected the data and information which I have just used in the video. So have a good day. Thank you.